find the common ground. Okay, so if new Prime Minister Mark Carney said he wants to build more housing faster, I know how to do that. Let's work together to do that, right? Yeah. If Doug Ford's want less congestion, well, there are different ways to do that too.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Table 6. I'm Dana Duncanson, here with my co-host, Lori Weir. We couldn't be more excited and honestly more honored to have the Mayor of Toronto, Olivia Chow, in the studio with us today. If there's anyone who truly understands what makes this city tick, it's Mayor Chow. From her days in politics as a school trustee to becoming the city's first Asian Canadian mayor, she's seen it all, fought for it all, and she loves the city deeply. Today, we're talking about what keeps her going, what's next for Toronto, and why she still believes in the power of community. Mayor Chow, welcome to the table.
Welcome. Hello.
Hello. We are so happy to have you here today. I want to get right into things talking about leadership. You know, we're in a time right now where it seems like many leaders across the world are focused or come from the background of wealth and focused on being self-centered. Prioritizing things like privatization and cutting cost, and not really focused on what is going on from a community care standpoint. It seems as if there's this sort of disconnect from the harsh realities of what their constituents are facing. With your leadership style, there's more empathy that's sort of tied in there, community building. You focus on things like education, supporting vulnerable communities, and social services. So I want to know what has really shaped your approach to leadership, and how do you stay connected to the realities of Torontonians?
I noticed the table is semi-round, oval. No sharp edges, which is a great thing. It's, because as we come together, we are stronger. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter whether the person, what status they have. If they are residents of the city of Toronto, they deserve the services that their property tax provides for them, even if they're renters, right? The renters, they still pay the property tax, and all the more reason that they should get the service, right? So that's on a more superficial level, but deeper is, what is a government? What's public service? Public. Serve. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I've always thought that the people that need service the most are usually the people that needs a bit of a helping hand. And of course, like a red light or a green light, a traffic light, we all need.
Yeah.
But there are some people that may need more. For example, if you're a kid, you need a bit more support. If you're a senior, you need a bit more. So those are people that really we need to intentionally do more work to support.
Yeah. No, that's great. And I love that you say that. And I think you're really speaking about the real approach to the life of the everyday Torontonian and the things that they're challenged with. You're the mayor who we see across the city biking around, and you seem to love taking the unconventional way of traveling. What do you think is lost when leadership becomes disconnected from experiencing the real life of a city, say, like Toronto?
Mm-hmm. Well, you're seeing it. For too long, the fares for TTC goes up, the service get cut. Because most of the mayors before me, they have cars. I've not had a car. I had a car immediately after I graduated from university, so I can take my sculpture to different places. And then after a year or so, I did pretty good work. I no longer I moved into politics. I said, I don't need a car. So taking public transit all my life, I know what it means for people, right? If you don't have a car, it's expensive to cab or Uber around. Yeah. Or you can bike or you can walk. But if you live in Scarborough, for example, you really...
Which I do.
Yeah. You do? Well, okay. There's not a lot of choices, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So every week now, I go and stand in a subway station like Kennedy, right? Maine,
You
you
should come
name
over
it.
for lunch, Mayor Chow.
You will bump into me. I was at Bloor and Young 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
And I'm there talking to transit riders who say, hey, what's working, what's not working. So for too long, you would notice that TDC have not gotten the money they need. So things are falling apart. Slow zones. Service disruption, right? Oh my God, another service disruption. Why? Well, the signal is not down, and then the track works, and then there's this and
There's
that.
always
Oh my
something.
God.
Yeah.
And if you go in, St. Patrick's Station is leaking, right? Half the roof sometimes are missing, right? For years. No, we can't do that. We have to make public transit better.
So, Mayor Chow, would you say, you do bike around the city, you kind of have a better understanding and relatability to what the people of Toronto live every single day. Would you say that as a leader who has shared or similar lived experience, even kind of looking back to your childhood, that makes for a more compassionate leader?
Well, I was, yes and no. Well, now I do have a security detail, so I'm in a car a lot too.
Fancy.
Fancy, I know. Apparently, every mayor for the last 10 years have a security detail.
Yeah. Understood.
So I'm in a black SUV, okay? Shades window,
Tint level 500.
Yeah, exactly. But you still see me on a bike with flowers
That's
all
right.
over the place.
That's true.
People will say,
Absolutely.
it's like, that's Chow. Yeah, because I have so many flowers on it. I think I came from a Catholic school background. Hey, we just got a new pope. But anyway,
Yes.
I'm not a Catholic, but but the school I went to was the Maryknoll Sisters that are pretty progressive. They're New Yorkers. Right? They start schools and hospitals in Hong Kong, China, in different places.
Yeah.
And that service, public service, love your neighbor as yourself, has always been the anchor of the belief. So I was raised believing that your life purpose is to make this world as heavenly as possible for everyone. And that is what you are supposed to do.
Yeah,
So,
that's
okay.
great sentiment. For sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of you biking around, Mayor Chow, we have a couple of photos here. And you talked about flowers on your bike. So I'm going to share with you this first one. So can you describe to the listeners and viewers at home what we're seeing here? Do you remember this day? And what was, what makes this so special for you?
Well, I got sworn in on July 2023. That's the day that I show up at City Hall, where I formally become the mayor of the city of Toronto.
Yeah.
So rather than, a limousine or something, right? I chose to ride my bicycle.
Yeah.
And it was so fabulous that a lot of my friends and Cycle Toronto decided to ride along with me. So we have a huge number of cyclists coming to Nathan Phillips Square and coming up to City Hall. Right?
Yeah.
You made a grand entrance. And you're wearing a Toronto designer here, Anu Reina.
Yes.
So I decided to wear my Anu Reina dress today for you.
I was looking at it. You notice I've been eyeing it. Shop local,
Shop
right?
local, that's right,
Yeah, it's
actually.
a good way to tell Trump, like, are you kidding?
Yeah.
They're going to be so
right.
reliant.
No, absolutely. I think,
It's also art,
yeah.
Yes,
right?
it is.
It's creativity.
Yes.
It's merging art with fashion.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey, that's a great thing to do.
Some people may not know that you actually have a fine arts degree. How do you think that art and culture has helped to shape Toronto's unique identity?
Art allows people to see the world in a different perspective sometimes. Like, think about these documentaries about films. It have you see a different side of things, which is important. And it connects us, which is empathetic, right? I think if people that are in government can be more empathetic,
Yeah.
judgment is important. If you have your core values, you can't go far from that. You have your principle. You don't do that, but you don't betray any of it. But being able to see where people are coming from and understanding, it allows for more bridge building, more empathy, and working together, and cooperation and collaboration.
Yeah.
But sometimes, though, at the end of the day, you still have to make a decision.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I love that you talked a little bit about being your background and sort of like having the different experiences. It's interesting because you've talked about very openly about your upbringing. I remember on the campaign you talked about immigrating to this country at the age of 13. You came with your parents. Your mom was a working class woman. Your dad had some challenges with employment. And you talked about growing up in St. Jamestown and being a part of a working class family in a lower income area. Then you went on, did all that you've done with education. One might consider that a bit atypical of what a politician would do. So when was your first taste of the political life, and how did you decide, which moment did you decide, yeah, this is where I believe I'm best purposed?
Helping others is always there. But it can be creativity, it could be in different forms. So I was doing a lot of sculpture, art. In fact, when I first graduated, I had a studio. I make good money. I know.
That's great.
Yeah, I know. As a sculptor, I
Wow.
had 3 or 4 contracts, steady income. It was great.
Good for
And yeah, that's why I was able to have a car and, delivering my
Yeah.
sculpture everywhere. I was actually quite successful.
But no tinted windows on there.
No, there's a Fiat that died. But anyway, I won that car because my cousin and I had a bet. He didn't think I would get a 4-year degree, A honor in. Yeah, but anyway, I won the
Wow.
bet and I did. And anyway, long story. And never mind. But being able to come from a background where my mom was a maid and my dad had mental health issues, and be able to get that experience and say, hey, immigrants have a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
Not having we had enough. We were never struggling per se, but every dollar counts,
Yeah.
matters.
Yeah.
And the first experience was really, it was gradual from art. I went to a rally in pouring rain on Grange Park. Okay, downtown, you know where
Yeah.
Grange Park is,
Yeah.
right? Right
Right by the
behind
AGO.
OCAD. Yeah, AGO. And it was the boat people at the time. It was the refugees that are drowning at sea, and they are being robbed, raped, and it was terrible. And this is Southeast Asian refugees. I thought, Canada's such a big place. Why don't we bring some of them here? So we mounted a campaign. At that time, there was a campaign called Operation Lifeline, and we joined it. And I thought, oh, it worked.
Wow.
The politicians listen. Oh my
Wow.
God.
Look at
Okay. This is what politics is about.
success
of
It was a
advocacy.
beginning,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't quite understand what levels of government or whatever. So we had 60,000 Vietnamese refugees arriving to Canada in 1979, 1 year. I thought, woo.
Wow.
powerful.
We have another photo for you here, which kind of is maybe a little bit before that time, but this is you
Church.
at age 18, I believe, here in Chinatown. So 5 years after you arrived.
Oh, they
in
are my
Toronto.
Sunday school students. I was trying
wow.
I was trying to teach them about, my Sunday school is quite slightly different. Yes, studying Bible. Oh, yes. I came from a Baptist church at that time, a downtown Baptist church. I was taking them, I recognized these students, and I was trying to get them to learn about other religion. I don't think the Baptist church was that appreciative of it. They should go and check out a Catholic church. There's Hinduism, it's different. And there's Buddha.
Yeah.
This is because on the 3rd year of my university, I took world religion,
Yeah.
right? Comparative religion. I thought, well, if we're if we're talking about spirituality, there's many ways to look at spirituality, right?
that's
That's
true.
might as well understand. I don't think the church elder really thought much of it.
Did you get kicked out, Mayor Chow?
No, I did not. Actually, there was a bit of a debate. And I ended up going to University of Guelph, so I stopped. But they were not happy. I think my student, after I stopped teaching, went on a bit of a strike. Said, we want her back. Anyway, it was, it's slightly radical.
Yeah, no, I love that. But I love that you also have such a varied background and you really understand from a global perspective. And even as you're talking about just even experiencing different religious backgrounds and beliefs, that is so Toronto, right? Like we are truly a melting, multicultural pot of different backgrounds and lived experiences. And you talked a little bit about the challenges of your dad and mental health, which is something that has come up a lot in this day and age now, and it is one of those bigger topics. And so some of the other things, I'm going to name some of the other issues globally that we're dealing with, right? Inflation, cost of living, housing shortages, crime, mental health being one, as well as another area of concern, global conflicts. How do you stay anchored amidst so much uncertainty? I know you can't write fast enough. And how do you help others find hope and structure amidst all the chaos?
Uh,
How are you
there's a
dealing with all
glass in
this?
front of you.
Yeah.
It's half full of water. And sometimes we look at what's empty. But if we look at the full part, okay, it's only half full. But there's water. It's half full. Let's look at what's there.
Yeah.
So you focus on the person or the neighborhood. What is their strength? Wow, they are incredibly creative. They're incredibly connected through something, or whatever it might be. Or every different neighborhood, every culture, every family,
Yeah.
every person has strength. And what gives them hope individually. And finding that, what is their story of the people around them
Yeah.
that gives them hope. And for me, as the mayor, is I'm sort of the conduit. You have the public service, right? All the public servant, people that pick up your garbage and take care of your kids and seniors and police, fire, ambulance, you name it. Right?
Yeah.
I'm the conduit. So the community, like let's say, Lori needs something or need more support in a certain thing. It's important that you let us know what could be the solution.
Yeah.
Then I connect you with public servant. Then you feel more confident, more empowered to make the change you need. So it's not a top-down approach in all of those things. Now, of course, I still have to decide how much money I'm going to put into that service.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's no getting around that. Okay, I'm going to put more money in TDC. That's it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But how does TDC deliver the service? Can it be better? We could really involve people. So in all of that area, if we can see it holistically, some people are having problems with housing because they have mental health issues. My dad liked to feed pigeon. Oh my God, he lives in an apartment building. Pigeon, if he goes out into the balcony, like pigeon down and go downstairs, he'll get evicted. So I need to go and help him out, right?
Yeah.
So we need services for people to prevent them from being evicted because some people need a bit of social support, mental health support, because they don't necessarily always have a daughter to come in and help out.
Clean up the
yeah, so to speak. or call up the landlord saying, can you give me some time? We'll sort this out.
Well, you can certainly get your hands
So
dirty.
City of Toronto now have a program called EPIC.
Yeah.
EPIC, Eviction Prevention in Communities, okay? They help some of the people that may be hoarding or maybe places a mess. they come and support that person to make sure they don't get evicted, because the minute they get evicted, they're going to become homeless and come to our shelter.
Yeah.
So much more expensive. Is like then it got downward spiral, right? So we have rent banks. We have people that come to inspect your apartment if your apartment have not had hot water for a long time, or elevators stop working and it doesn't get fixed, which is illegal. So we send inspector out to solve those problems. Right?
Yeah. Well, I think what you're talking about is just the challenges I think a lot of big cities are facing, where they have got this growing list. The budget's not growing nearly as fast as the issues are growing, and you're balancing that. Bringing that even sort of broader. You're working with different levels of government, and we just we have a new prime minister that's been elected, and you're working with our provincial government as well. How do you manage dealing with leaders who come from different political stripes and being able to work collaboratively with them, negotiate with them, while also still remaining true to your values and what you were elected for?
It's a very good question. There's a fourth, not political level government, but these are volunteers. These are nonprofit organizations. They do phenomenal amount of work, right?
Yeah.
Kids Phone Line, for example, right? Answering for it's a nonprofit, but it gets funding from, and they fundraise also. So really, you're looking at trying to get everyone working together.
Yeah.
Find the common ground. Okay, so if new Prime Minister Mark Carney said he wants to build more housing faster, I know how to do that. Let's work together to do that, right? Yeah. If Doug Fords want less congestion, well, there are different ways to do that too. Getting public transit going is a good way, for example.
Yeah.
Removing bike lanes may not be.
Especially for Mayor Chow. Yeah.
Exactly. However, hey, we could compromise. If I can get to keep the bike lanes, okay, keep the cyclists safe, but also add back a car lanes by doing redesign of the road. Hey, why not? Okay. So, yes, the city is growing, and which means more people are going to be with more cars are going to be there, right? The other thing is, our city has deteriorated a great deal. You see the potholes and everything is falling apart, right? So for a long time, we haven't been fixing enough stuff. Now that we are fixing things, guess what? That's construction.
Congestion.
Construction is the number one cause of your congestion.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get the construction to be coordinated, so we don't.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So that we don't pave the road and rip it up again.
Right.
Pave the road, rip it out again.
Right.
Yeah, we used to do that. We now have an office that coordinate all. The other thing is that the longer you close the road, the more we're going to charge you.
Yeah.
That makes sense. It would just give you financial incentive to do it faster. Right?
Faster, cheaper, better. Yep.
I know. It was a flat rate, which makes no sense, for God's sake, especially in downtown.
Yeah.
You're blocking all this traffic. The other thing is this. Those drivers that run in to pick up a Timmy's.
Double park and put their
double
hazards
park
on.
when the no stopping sign, when there's a bus or a streetcar all backed up with 5 cars, like or they block the intersection.
Yes.
So we are hiring more traffic agents. You know those that have the
very official.
They're very official.
Vests,
yeah,
yes.
The vest, right? The crossing guard vest. They're great.
Yeah.
It prevents all the people from blocking the box, right? They direct traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're pretty cool.
That's been helpful.
Yeah, we have 100 of them. When I first started, it was only 2.
Yeah.
We're getting it out to 100.
That's awesome.
Right? Yeah.
Just switching gears, Mayor Chow, we wanted to ask you about the Love Local initiative that you announced in March, back when kind of the tariff war was at its peak. Can you tell us the importance of that from a Toronto perspective? Why is it so important to be helping small business right now?
Whoa. Well, Mr. Trump has this terrible trade war going on, senseless, brutal, how many more words do you want me to say? Harmful, ridiculous.
You can keep going, but we don't want to have all day.
All day, yeah. So the best way is make us stronger and be more resilient, which is what small businesses, they create, 75%, 80% of the jobs, right? And they're the lifeblood. And they also enliven the entire neighborhood. Look at downtown, right? All the small business makes a huge difference. So the City of Toronto have a Love Local campaign. We also have a lot of grants, incentives, rebates, Toronto Global, BIAs, BIAs, business improvement areas, business development center. We have entrepreneurship programs that are run by public libraries. Did you know that? As a newcomer, you can go to a public library free. They will have 6 to 8 classes every week to teach you how to start your business, take your concept into reality, how to network, how to make things happen. So we run those programs, mentorship. We have small business advisors. We have an economic development department, and of course we have Cafe TO.
Right, and that's permanent now.
Yay!
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's got fixed. Remember the first year, like in 2023? Oh my
so much
God!
more efficient.
Yeah, like you apply, and by July, it's like the summer's half over.
Yeah.
Like, you're still waiting for your permit. Now, in May, like you're seeing them, right?
Yeah.
In May 24,
Absolutely.
everything is going to be ready.
Yeah.
Mayor Chow, one of the most wonderful things about the City of Toronto is our festivals, and you're always out there. You love a theme. You love to dress up. You love to dance, and we really feel I think that you're there not just because of you being in office, but you truly care. You want to be out in the community, having fun, showing support to the community. So I love that. And here's a photo of you at Caravana. You look fierce, by the way. This is very nice, very nice.
I've been jumping up for 3 decades.
Yeah. So
You have it. Yeah.
It's not the first time.
I've seen you many parades around the city.
All types of parades, Pride Parade,
yeah. So why is it important for you to have so many festivals here in Toronto? Is that makes it so special to a memorable part of the city?
Think about we're Canadians, right? The winter could be really hard by February. Oh,
Over it. Yeah.
yeah, March, oy. And then it gets warmer. Like right now, it's getting warmer. Oh, something happens to our body, right? We want to go out and soak up that sun. We want to be outside. We want to be with people. It's like, bear hibernate. We don't, but we love to come outside.
That's true.
So it fosters a great sense of belonging. It's free. Street festival is free. You don't have to pay anything to go anywhere.
Yeah.
You can, young, old, it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. You just come and have fun. There's food. There's shopping, there's art, there's entertainment. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow. And then like a lot of them, even they have rides for kids, right? Bouncy castles, you name it.
Yeah.
You get to meet your neighbors.
Food,
and
all the good food.
all the good food. Yeah. Different kinds of food.
Yeah.
And for each culture, I'll give you one example this year. I met with the Filipino community last Saturday.
Yeah.
And of course, that tragedy happened in Vancouver where people died, right? Ran
Very
over
sad.
by a car. Yeah. And Taste of Manila is coming. And we said, we will not let fear get in our way.
Good.
And we will continue to celebrate the culture and the amazing food in the Filipino community. We're going to give an extra effort to get even more people coming out. And of course, the city will help make sure there's barricades and blocks and all of that to keep people safe.
That's great.
And because of inflationary increase, a lot of, whether it's artists or festivals, they're having a bit of a hard time.
Yeah.
So they need a bit more financial support. We increased that grant by 33%. It's now $2.4 million for festivals. But for every dollar we put in, you're looking at hundreds of dollars coming back in because of the economic vibrancy, right?
Yeah.
And the volunteers that they have. Because every festival, they have one or two staff, right?
Yeah.
The medium-sized one. Now, Pride has a few more, but Caribbean Festival has a few more. But for the smaller ones, it's just festivals, right?
Yeah.
So it's so important to support them and support the artists that make them come alive too.
They're so important to Toronto's identity. And,
I agree.
You know,
We are the
Identity is the thing, right?
Identity.
That sense of belonging.
Yes.
And isolation is deadly. And we want people to come out and connect.
Absolutely.
And
Let's pray for sunshine this summer.
There will be.
We'll
be.
Yeah. Before we get into our last quick bites, do you have any other last questions or?
No, I think we can move right into quick bites. So.
Okay, great. So, Mayor Chow, not to put you on the spot, but we will. We have, we call them quick bites here at Table 6. So there's just going to be 6 really quick questions. And first thing that pops into your mind. So just kind of give us your best answer.
Emote.
What is your favorite biking trail?
Oh, I have so many. I have too many. Leslie Spit, the park.
Leslie Spit? That's a good one.
Yeah.
Describe.
And actually getting to Leslie Spit through the Cherry Beach.
Okay.
Yeah, the Portland.
Yeah, Portland's.
Describe Toronto in 3 words. And you don't have to be really nice.
Diverse, vibrant, creative.
Oh, good one.
Oh, good one.
Tell us something quirky about the city that makes you smile.
Raccoons. Ew. See, I just made you laugh.
I love that.
Pretty, though.
I'm having a battle with 3 of them on my deck.
They're pretty possessive.
They are smiling, not me.
When you have visitors or friends coming to visit you, where do you take them in the city?
Toronto Islands, Wards Islands, Helens Point.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Best
beautiful
view of the
place.
city.
Yeah. Hey, you can now get bike share there now. Yeah,
Oh,
you can-
good.
yeah, we're moving that in there. Yeah, I
That's
know.
perfect.
Yeah, about time. Yes.
What was your very first job in Toronto?
Oh, I was I snapped buttons onto jeans. And on Spadina Avenue, it was a garment factory.
Back
and I
in the
snapped
garment district days.
Exactly. I snapped my fingers half the time.
Oh my goodness.
Dangerous.
I was very young. My mom was a seamstress, and I don't think I was at legal working age, but it didn't matter. I needed money. My
How old
parents
were you?
I don't know, 14, 15.
Oh,
maybe.
wow.
Wow.
And lastly, so let's say you have the grandkids for the day. Where would you take them for the max fun?
Used to be Ontario Place. Yeah. It depends on which one. I have four grandkids.
Yes.
The younger ones might still like the center view over in the islands, and I would go over to Wards Island, bike around, and in the winter I might go skiing with them.
Okay.
Yeah, and Earl Bale Park has skis, and
Yeah.
you can just rent skis and go.
Awesome.
And there's skating too. But
Yeah.
they love to ski.
Super fun. That's awesome.
They learn how to ski on Earl Bale Park, which is a Toronto park.
Love that. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Mayor Chow, for joining us today
is
at
great.
Table
And the
6.
zoo. Wait.
And
the
the
zoo. They
The
would,
zoo,
you know
Toronto
what?
Zoo, yes.
Forget it. Yeah. I think they would enjoy the zoo more. Sorry.
Okay, we'll do a retake on that one.
We take on that one, Sue. Yeah.
Yeah, this has been really great. Thank you so much for being here today.
That's lots of fun.
Thank you. Thanks for
Thank
joining us at
you.
the table. That's a wrap on this episode of Table 6. A heartfelt thank you to Mayor Olivia Chow for joining us and for sharing her passion, resilience, and vision for a more connected Toronto. From investing in community to championing creativity and equity, it's clear this city means everything to her, and we're lucky to have her at the helm. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow or subscribe to Table 6 wherever you get your podcasts. And if you've got a second, leave us a rating or review. It really helps more people find the show. Thanks for joining us at the table today. And remember, community isn't just where we live, it's something we build together.